Welcome back to the Shreveport Connection with Tommy, and this video is going to be about SmackDown Super Show and Tate Internet Superstars NXT, and some news from what happened after Raw. There wasn't any reports yet from what happened after SmackDown stopped. Teddy was heading up the ramp, and we'll have you at the end of the show. But first, here's your news. Wade Barrett suffered an injury to his left arm during the 10-man Battle Royal on Monday's Raw Super Show after being taken to a nearby medical facility for further evaluation. He was diagnosed with a dislocated elbow. The injury occurred following Barrett and R-Truth's elimination from the match. As Truth and Barrett recovered from their eliminations on the outside, Big Show then tossed Dolph Ziggler on top of both of them from the ring, which was, I believe his arm was shoved into the announcer's table, and the three superstars were knocked backwards, and Barrett landed awkwardly on his arm. Ziggler was also hurt when his shoulder and arm hit the broadcast table during the match. He was examined backstage briefly, and he was said to be fine, so he returned out to face CM Punk for the dark match main event, which there was two of them. So, Cody Rhodes, Kofi Kingston, and R-Truth were also hurt during that match and received medical attention backstage. After the pay-per-view on Sunday, Kofi had to have quite a few stitches in the back of his head for injuries, and he gets hurt again on Monday night. Wow, way to go, WWE. Way to hurt your talent. You won't have a WrestleMania keep on hurting anybody or everybody. Rhodes hurt his elbow and right leg. Kingston appeared to be shaken up but was not seriously injured. R-Truth was assisted to the backstage area following the match. After Monday's Raw Super Show went off the air, champion CM Punk defeated Dolph Ziggler as they were wrestling in the dark match, was a good sign that he was not injured during the nasty bump he took on the announcer's table when Big Show eliminated him as his head bounced off the top briefly and went down. As Jason Powell was at the tapings, he also he posted the results for that match. Ziggler won with went for the famouser. Punk caught him in midair. Somewhat caught him and went for the GTS delivered the GTS for the win. John Cena just defeated Kane, and there wasn't no results other than his for like 10 different dirt sheets. And breaking news: Lance Storm is returning to the ring during March the 30th for Ring of Honor's Showdown in the Sun event. Storm will face the prodigy Mike Bennett, and by the way, that Mike Bennett is the boyfriend of Maria, formerly of WWE Diva, and the WrestleMania weekend event for Ring of Honor. For more on the story, visit ROHWrestling.com. The match will take place in Fort Lauderdale, Florida, and will be broadcast along with the full Showdown in the Sun event via online pay-per-view. Happy birthday, Brodus Clay! Real name, George Murdoch. Turned 32 today. He was born February 21st, 1980. There was also a TNA wrestler's birthday, and I haven't gotten his age, and that's none other than new TNA star Crimson. Another report further on Wade Barrett's injury. Partial dislocated on his left elbow during the 10-man Battle Royal on Raw. He will undergo an MRI for further evaluation this week and will be sidelined for 6 to 8 weeks, thus missing WrestleMania, the biggest payday of the year for WWE stars. The injury occurred following, well, it just goes into it again, and it was another report. Two former stars gave Oksana a negative review for her match against Nikki and Brie Bella on Raw, as these former stars were Gregory Helms, none other than Hurricane, He wrote on Twitter, "Geez, Oksana is not good." Lance Storm commented on Helms' comment, and his response was, "Understatement of the century," unquote. Among the names who were backstage at Raw were former WWE, WCW star Perry Saturn and AWA star Greg Gagne. The Undertaker returned to Raw for a confrontation with Triple H. The Undertaker appeared with the hood covering his head. Covering up the haircut we saw him give himself during last week's promo. Well, that's just as they did not show his head at all. They just showed the hair falling with the cuts and what have you. Because he shaved his head quite a I believe right after WrestleMania last year, so he was totally bald. Thus his hair has not grown back full, so they will not reveal this until WrestleMania in the match against Triple H. So I guess he won't be pulling Triple H's hair. He won't. I guess Triple H won't be pulling Undertaker's hair. According to a report from PW Torch, the current plan for Undertaker is to remove his hood for the first time at WrestleMania 28. And now for NXT results that will be posted tomorrow at noon. Matt Striker opened the show with an interview segment featuring Kurt Hawkins and Tyler Rex, which is interrupted by Tyson Kidd. That led into a match between Kidd and Rex. Tyson Kidd beat Tyler Rex by submission with the sharpshooter. Like Rex, just like Rex was last week, Hawkins was ejected from ringside. Darren Young walked to the announcer table to do commentary for the next match. Percy Watson joins him after the match. Titus O'Neil beat Alex Riley by pinning him, using his feet on the ropes for leverage, the cheat. And that was your only 2 matches for NXT. So that goes a wasted hour of wrestling, because there's only 2 matches. So I guess I'll have a lot of video footage of SmackDown and from the pay-per-view and Raw to fill in the spots for that. Well, I've seen no dark match for prior to SmackDown or the NXT tapings. But, okay, now for your Superstars brand, WWE Superstars Raw brand matches where Michael McGillicuddy defeated Alex Riley. Tyler Rex beat Mason Ryan. And then SmackDown portion today, they were in the BMO Harris Bank Center in Rockford, Illinois. And the following one match, Superstars, Jinder Mahal defeated Justin Gabriel by submission via camel clutch. SmackDown starts, followed by Josh Matthews welcoming and Michael Cole, plugging CM Punk versus Daniel Bryan for the main event. Booker then plugged a Mark Henry versus Big Show match for later on. Lillian Garcia then introduced the world champion Daniel Bryan, who came out to the ring with AJ. Well, AJ was wearing a you might say just midriff covering her breast area, wrapping around. That's all they did is wrap around, and you see nothing but skin and a little bit of belly and of course her pants. Daniel Bryan cleared his throat a few times to get the crowd's attention. He almost said excuse me a few times. Similar to Vicky Guerrero, glad he didn't. And then recalled when he won Money in the Bank and said he would main event WrestleMania. He said nobody believed him. Yet here he stood as the world champion. Then he screamed that he was headed to the main event at WrestleMania to a chorus of boos. Bryan then mentioned Santino and talked about him channeling Rocky Balboa at Elimination Chamber. He then called himself a role model and said he was the real underdog story. He then bragged about beating Big Show, Barrett, Rhodes, and and crew at the Elimination Chamber, and screamed at the crowd that he did it. He grabbed AJ to celebrate, and she couldn't help but laugh. Well, surprise! Sheamus ruined his moment and embarrassed him at the Elimination Chamber pay-per-view, and that he would return the favor and ruin Sheamus' WrestleMania moment. He also exclaimed that he would do the same to CM Punk later on in the show. At that point, Miz's music interrupts and he's headed to the ring. Miz opened with a, "Well, look at you, the World Heavyweight Champion." He told Bryan that he was wrong, that he believed all along for him to become a champion, and said that he had a lot to do with it, with molding and mentoring during the NXT season as his pro. He said he wasn't out there for thanks to steal the spotlight, and he said he was there only to say congratulations. He said congratulations on being in the main event at WrestleMania, just like he did, The Miz did last year. He told him right after he embarrassed Sheamus using the skills he taught him, they should form a tag team. Sheamus' music hits, and they headed out to the ring to confront Bryan. Sheamus said that he too would like to congratulate Bryan on being a massive arse and a hypocrite. But the way he said it, hypocrite. Sheamus said that he's no role model. He's just a coward. Coward is what he said. That's supposed to be coward. He then told Bryan he was a coward for hiding behind his skirt, and that after WrestleMania nobody would be congratulating him, as they would be saying he actually got what he deserved. Well, The Miz then grabbed a mic, but the first mic, Sheamus just snatched it away from The Miz. Miz was going to hand it to him, but he just snatched it like a heel would do, and Miz was just like, okay. Like, really? 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 You know, his normal, that's the way he was looking, but he wasn't saying much. Well, Miz grabbed the mic and told Sheamus, okay, the mic that he grabbed was actually handed to him from Daniel Bryan. And then he told Sheamus that he has no place interrupting him and stealing the world champion spotlight. Sheamus then told Miz that he should let the people who have a match at WrestleMania talk. At which point Bryan slapped him and bailed from the ring. Sheamus gave chase, but Miz attacked him from behind, which set up the first match for SmackDown. Sheamus ending up getting the better of him and tossing Miz out of the ring. Sheamus then stared down Bryan at the top of the ramp. Wow, good opening segment, like the Bryan promo, but he just ran his mouth too much, and then the interruption and Sheamus interaction. But The Miz kind of felt tacked on. He didn't give a bad performance, he just felt like a third wheel. I'm assuming he ends up wrestling Sheamus tonight. Well, guess what? It's up next. Sheamus defeated Miz in 6 minutes. We joined the match already in progress back from commercial, with Sheamus having The Miz in an armbar. Sheamus telegraphed a back body drop and ate a boot. He recovered to send The Miz onto the apron when he charged and hit his clubbing chest blows. The crowd was counted at 10. Miz fell to the outside and Sheamus stalled a bit before heading outside to the ring to pick him up in pieces. He then tossed Miz back in the ring and hit a flying shoulder block from the apron for a near fall. Miz rolled to the apron and hung Sheamus over the top, but couldn't capitalize. Sheamus hits a running forearm. He tried to hit a spear in the corner, but ended up eating the ring post. Miz took control after a misfire and hit a face breaker. He then hit his signature running clothesline in the corner and then followed up with a double axe handle from the top rope. Miz locked in the armbar, but Sheamus powered out quickly and fired up with some clotheslines. He then followed up with an Irish curse backbreaker for a near fall. Miz then hits a back elbow out of the corner and then hit a neck breaker for 2. He then attempted a skull crushing finale, but Sheamus powered out and missed a brogue kick. Miz rolled him up for a 2 count. Sheamus then got up, hits the message for the win, which used to be Finley's Irish cross, which is okay. Well, it's just Okay, then what are you calling it? The message. The Celtic Cross. That's what I call it. Good match to start off the show. No surprise by the finish, and the action was good. Backstage, Teddy Long spoke to Natalia with the porn music playing. Laryngitis walked up. Yeah, I'm calling him laryngitis because he talks like he's got laryngitis. Well, he walked up during one of Oksana's crew jokes, and laryngitis called him a low class. Teddy Long replied that he hoped they were comfortable, and he said he gave them their own office, which was the men's room backstage. Tonga then said he would beat Zeke again tonight, and Teddy's office belonged to the dumpster. God, that was an awful segment. Video recap aired of the parts of John Cena's promo from Monday and plugged The Rock's appearance on the next Monday. Kofi Kingston's music hits and he's headed to the ring. R-Truth follows as he sees his tag partner again. Well, not so good of a tag team win because they beat the tag team champions on Monday Night Raw, but they couldn't beat Jack Swagger and Miss Piggy as the manager, and Dolph Ziggler tag team formation. Okay, Jack Swagger and Dolph defeated Kofi Kingston and R-Truth in 3 minutes 20 seconds. Truth and Swagger started. Swagger drawing first blood with a hard-looking shoulder tackle for a 2 count. Ziggler then tagged in and continued to assault with an elbow drop and a chin lock. Truth fought back and got a hot tag to Kingston, who cleared house with a couple of drop kicks. He then hit a heel kick and a big splash for a cover, but Swagger broke the count. Swagger emptied Truth from the ring, and Kofi dumped out Swagger, but he turned around into the thumb to the eyes and a zigzag for the win. So Ziggler and Swagger are back to being a tag team now. Ziggler deserves better, but this wasn't a bad match at all. Whatever. Promo aired for Sci-Fi's latest reality show, Face Off. The announcers then plugged the Mark Henry vs. Big Show match, showing Big Show KO Henry last week on SmackDown. Commercial break. Then they did the video package of Ron Simmons being introduced as the next entry to the Hall of Fame. I'm happy for Ron, and I'm glad that he's finally been introduced, even though he should have been introduced last week. And I still remember his title win over Vader in the APA days, or the APA days, were very fondly. Yes, JBL, I believe, will be the man to induct him into the Hall of Fame. Backstage segment, Santino and the Cobra were knocking Solo Cup off a table for practice strikes. He was playing the Cobra like a puppet, coming up from the table. Well, then Heath Slater, the one-man rock man, who I think should meet up with a former WCW wrestler, the rock star, what's his name? Lash LaRue. Or that's Lash LaRue. He's been missing from wrestling action. I guess he's retired for right now, as he's back home in Alabama area. And I just added it to my Facebook friends list. And he's making money doing some artwork lately. He's a great artist, by the way. Very good cartoonist. Okay, well, Heath Slater interrupts and knocks all the cups off the table. He says, I'll tell you how to get the cups off the table. This is how you do it. And slams them off the table. Well, then the Cobra has a new move. And it delivers him right in the face. And Heath sold it like he was like burning in the eyes. Michael Cole then reported on CM Punk and Chris Brown's Twitter slap fight. Yeah, they went back and forth over Twitter in the last 2 days. As CM Punk has a video of it, and I believe it's posted on WWE, or they did some type of hype for it. Then they plugged the Bryan versus Punk main event. Then they went to commercial. Okay, what Santino was had, he probably had a tube going up the Cobra, because what it did is it spit out of the mouth. So he had to have something in there, and his left hand was going up in there, like squeezing the bottle. It's like you know how the bottles with the spray, when you hold it up, it's like it'll spray. Well, that's what it kind of looked like. And he nailed him with it twice. Okay, back to the other action in the on SmackDown. Drew McIntyre was already in the ring, and we get a entrance from the Great Khali. Well, this match lasts what? A whole half minute. Yeah, Great Khali defeated Drew McIntyre in 32 seconds. Khali grabbed Drew and chopped him on the forehead and nailed the Punjabi plunge for the win. Poor Drew McIntyre. Another loss on SmackDown. So, is he ever going to get fired for losing? That was a stupid storyline since they didn't plan on doing it anyways. Well, I'm still he is a decent wrestler, by the way. Better than some others. I'm not going to say which ones, but anyways. Video aired from Raw, from the conclusion of Raw's Battle Royal. Show was interviewed backstage and said Cody is on the top of his you-know-what list. And that was probably on the top of Mark Henry's you-know-what list as well. He said he would KO Mark Henry tonight and break Cody Rhodes in half the next time he gets his hand on him. Commercial break. Video clip was showing a Big Show knocking out Mark Henry last week. Mark Henry then made his entrance into the arena. Big Show followed and revved up the crowd. He even slapped hands and gave a kid a handshake and a high five. Mark Henry then defeated Big Show by countout at 5 minutes and 30 seconds because Big Show actually knocked out Mark Henry and left as he was chasing Cody Rhodes, as you will find out in the next few sentences. Big Show hit some body punches to start off and a splash in the corner to start the match. Big Show then lined up for the WMD, but Henry ducked and hit a clothesline of his own. Henry took control shortly and kept Big Show grounded with elbows and stomps. Show punched his way back to his feet, but ate a clothesline from Henry and went back down. Henry then hit a double axe handle and covered for two. Show tried to use the ropes to get up, but Henry kicked his hand off the rope and stepped on his chest. Wow. He stood on his chest, but like, okay, that's not going to hurt me. I'm the Big Show. I can almost bench press with my weight. The Big Show is kind of real strong, you know. Well, Henry hit another punch, and then he choked Big Show against the ropes. Henry then just trash talked Big Show. You think you can knock me out? Come knock me out. Telling him it was his shot. Calling tonight. Show fought back with a couple of clotheslines, followed by a spear. Then Show revved up the crowd for a chokeslam. Cody Rhodes then appeared on the stage to talk trash, which got his attention diverted. Cody then said Show was about to chokeslam someone, so it must not be WrestleMania. He then aired a clip of. Okay, he was just showing the sumo match from a previous WrestleMania with a clip of Akabono beating him in a sumo match at WrestleMania. After the clip, Big Show turned around into the World's Strongest Slam and a splash for a very close near fall. Big Show gets up and hit the WMD punch on Henry and left the ring to chase after Rhodes. Bell never rang, so whatever they ruled it, I'm going to guess this was a count-out victory for Henry. Well, that was okay while it lasted. It's a shame Henry is being treated like this just because he's hurt. we got a great presence in the ring, and he's being punished for nothing. A recap aired of the Undertaker and Triple H segment from Monday's Raw. You just saw this last night, and I won't bother you with details. Announce team plug. The main event goes commercials. We plugged the its own YouTube show. Are you serious? Which showcases the worst WWE clips of all time. Teddy Long's music played, and he came out on stage to shake the hand of his representative Zeke Jackson. Laryngitis then came out to do the same for David Otunga, and he cuts a promo. A cut and promo aired of Ezekiel Jackson apologizing for letting Teddy down. Teddy Long and SmackDown brand. He vowed to correct his mistake, but it just didn't work again tonight. Another ridiculous match. David Otunga only had one basic move, very similar to Wade Barrett. One move, man. Well, Wade has more moves than David Otunga ever did. Well, Otunga won the match in 1 minute and 17 seconds. Otunga took control early with strikes, but Zeke worked his power and took control. He hit strikes of his own in the corner and a couple of clotheslines. He then followed up with a side slam. Zeke went for the torture rack, but Otunga grabbed the ropes to free himself and then hits the spine buster for the win. What a few seconds later. Well, the reporter says it's a spine buster, but come on, man. That wasn't no spine buster. Lots of short matches on the road to WrestleMania. I don't get a sense of urgency for the show at all. Another clip from Face Off aired for the following Sci-Fi Network, followed by a main event plug by Booker T. Commercial break. Then they showed a recap airing of Eve getting exposed as a horrible human being last night. They weren't able to cut it up in a way that made it any less offensive than what it was last night. Backstage, CM Punk was interviewed backstage by Matt Striker. Punk said he's happy to be on SmackDown and he likes the general manager here. And that's Teddy Long. He says he wants Teddy Long to be the GM of both shows, and that he wants John, he calls him Nickel Fritz, Laryngitis, to become a spokesperson for the Men's Warehouse. Punk then ripped on Bryan for being vegan a bit and said that Bryan knows how to win. He'll have to teach him how to lose tonight. Well, then they show Cena and Eve's awkward segment didn't get any better with editing, but that was very good lighthearted interview from Punk. Sam Brock Cena Raw plug that Alfred that aired earlier was shown here again. And your main event, Daniel Bryan's music played, and he celebrated while the crowd booed with his ecstasy yelling. A CM Punk crowd chant started, and his music hit, and came out to a great reaction. Daniel Bryan versus CM Punk ended in a double pin. What? Yeah, that's a double pin. This is more like a 2 out of 3. It's like 2 out of 3 pinfall. 2 out of 3 match. More to say, both men locked up in the corner, but the ref broke it up. Bryan then took down Punk and dropped with a drop toe hold and locked in an armbar. Punk reversed it into a headlock. Then hits a shoulder block. Punk went for the roll up, but it got reversed. Bryan then went for a pin, and they traded reversals that ended up in a standstill. A brief stare down. Bryan had Punk in a headlock, which Punk followed out of, and hit a knee lift off an Irish whip. Punk went for a cover and got a 2 count. Bryan landed some kicks in the corner, but ate a kick out of the corner. Punk climbed the ropes and went for a dive, but missed. And then he sold the left elbow heavily. Bryan immediately went on the attack, kicking and tweaking Punk's elbow. And Bryan hit a suplex and stomped on Punk's elbow, and then covered for a 2 count. Bryan drove a knee into Punk's head again and worked the elbows and shoulders. Punk hit a suplex, but Bryan landed awkwardly on Punk's knee. But everybody appeared to be okay. Both men stood up, and Punk hit a series of kicks, followed by a drop kick. Punk went for the GTS, but Bryan escaped. Then Bryan escaped a kick as well. Bryan then rolled to the outside, but Sheamus came down and threw him in, because Bryan was actually calling for his belt because he was going to walk out of the match. Sheamus throws him back in. Punk hits a kick to the back of the head. Ended up back in the ring and got a cover for a 3 count. Punk celebrated briefly until laryngitis restarted the match based on the interference from Sheamus. Punk hit another kick to the gut of Bryan. So after the restart, both men were on the ground after the break. And Bryan continued to work. This is fall number 2, by the way. Bryan continued to work on the arm of Punk. Punk went for a roll-up, but it got reversed by Bryan. Bryan grabbed the ropes, got the 3 count. Teddy Long comes out to break up the celebration and restarted the match for the 3rd fall. So he got 1-1. Punk went to work with the elbows. They traded about 100 waist locks, and then Punk suplexed Bryan over the top rope to the floor. Punk then dove on Bryan and ate the barricade. Punk hit a springboard clothesline for a near fall. He then followed up with his running knee. But Bryan drove his shoulder into the mat when he attempted the running bulldog. Bryan then hit a running dropkick into the corner for another near fall. Bryan hit a European uppercut and placed Punk on the top rope. Bryan hit a Hurricane Rana, but Punk reversed it into a near fall. Punk went for another roll up, but Bryan reversed it into a label lock attempt that failed. Bryan ended up eating another kick to the head, but he was able to get to his foot on the ropes to avoid the 3 count. Punk went back to the top for an elbow, but Bryan pushed him off the ropes. Bryan attempted a superplex, but Punk pushed him off. Undeterred, he tried again for a suplex and failed again. Another superplex. Punk then climbed back on the top rope, but again it was interrupted by Bryan, who finally hits his superplex. The ref made a count, but both men's shoulders were down, resulting in confusion. So to me, it's a draw. Well, Peanut Head and Laryngitis argued at ringside about the finish of the match. Both men, they were saying both of their men won. Yada, yada, yada. Then they got in the ring with Long crowning Punk the winner and Laryngitis crowning Bryan the winner. They had a brief scuffle in the ring with both men tossing their suit coats off and around in the ring. Before Long he got mad. Instead of punching Laryngitis, he just throws his jacket at him and leaves. No official conclusion was announced for the match, so I'm guessing it was a draw. Great action throughout the match. Worthy of a pay-per-view. I'm not saying which one. It could possibly be at WrestleMania. I'm not a fan of these type of matches with multiple finishes, with 2 out of 3 falls, and you still get that. There should have been 5 more minutes, folks. But for SmackDown, you ain't going to get that because it's only a 2-hour show. Raw will extend it. But in the end, it kept both champions strong and furthered the conflict between Long and Laryngitis. Teddy Long's name is Peanut Head from his NWA brief WCW days. And Laryngitis. Overall, the show had some good moments, but didn't feel the normal urgency that we normally feel with a little time left until WrestleMania. Hopefully we see business pick up some serious intensity surrounding WrestleMania next week, as there will be 5 weeks left before the biggest pay-per-view of WWE for the year. Thanks for viewing, and y'all can see my videos next week for next Monday's Rock's return. And of course, they will probably show the replay of SmackDown on Friday night. Thank you, and have a nice week.